I would like to use this medium to express our thanks to the parliamentary representative, Honourable Rayburn Blackmoore, and the government of Dominica for taking the initiative to undertake such an important project within the municipality of Canefield. The council is pleased to be associated with this project as it will improve the infrastructure of the community. We wish to thank central government for partnering with us as we see central government and local government partnership in the community as a progressive one. We see the signing ceremony and the works that will be undertaken as timely, and we also hope that the residents will be satisfied after completion of works on this project. I would like to once again welcome all of you to this contract signing ceremony for road rehabilitation in the Canefield East and RBC areas, and we hope that this project will be successfully completed. Once again, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today, as I've said before, and I want to reiterate for emphasis, it's an absolute honor to be representing the best constituency ever, the Mahaut constituency. And together, we shall build this beautiful constituency. But today, we are dealing with Canefield, isn't that so? Last month, you may recall, we met at this location, right here. And we signed a contract for the construction of a retaining wall in the area of the Canefield housing scheme, a river wall, to the tune of almost $800,000. I'm happy to report that work has actually begun on this very important project that will not only protect lives, but property, and will go a long way in actually managing the Canefield River. You may recall that we met there sometimes in February when I met with the residents of Canefield, and together we agreed as to how we're going to proceed in terms of the works that will need to have been done on the roads in the entire Canefield area. And based on your advice, you told me how to proceed in terms of prioritizing the many roads to be undertaken in Canefield. You told me that the roads should be addressed as follows. Canefield East, RBC Housing Scheme, 21st Street, Roger Canefield, 14th Street, among others. Can you recall that? Those of you who were here at this very important meeting. I want to recognize in our mix a good friend of mine who has been a champion for the needs of the people in Canefield East. And she is the one who the people of Canefield East has to give all the credit. She is the one who called me for the very first meeting, and I want to recognize Ms. Sorrendo, who is also an employee at Harris Paint. I also want to recognize my good friend. I said earlier on, the only friend I have in Canefield is Marielle, and she's just walking in. And also, she's an employee at Whitchurch. And I'm saying she's a good friend because when we started some work a few years ago, she was giving the employees free juice, free water. In other communities, persons tell me, oh, I was giving people water to do the construction and my water bill went up. Are you going to pay me for that? But Maria Paconsa. And I must say, it's a wonderful community in Canefield East. So I'm happy to be here today. Today is important because you may recall when we met here last month, I said in a couple of weeks' time we shall be meeting here again, and that time is to sign the contracts for the works to be undertaken in Canefield East and the other parts of Canefield. Let me also pause to recognize a good friend. She used to live in Mahaut before, in Canefield East. We call her baby, used to call her, the baby now. You understand? Well, I know she was not well, but I know she has baby before. She used to live in Mahaut before, close to my mother and father, and close to me too. And I want to also recognize Ms. Danglo, there from Mahaut originally, now living in Canefield East. We may be related too, in Mahaut. So today, we will be signing 5 contracts to the tune of $774,000. And that check will be made available to the Canefield Urban Council through the chairman, Mr. Powell. I've always said that I want to work with the council. I represent everybody in the Mahaut constituency, and that also includes Canefield. I do not get myself involved in council election. The only election I get myself involved in is the election that I ought to get myself involved in. But I'm hoping, as I've been able to demonstrate with the other councils in the constituency, namely Campbell Despo Village Council, and Mahaut, Taro, and Jimmy Village Council, where we have been able to do tremendous work in infrastructure and other social interventions almost perfectly. And we have also partnered in the past with the Canefield Urban Council. And I want to just bring to your attention that between 2013 and 2016, $428,000 was made available to the Canefield Urban Council for various infrastructural works. And that included improvement to the roads in Canefield East, 2nd Street, 9th Street, 12th Street, and 14th Street, and also RBC housing scheme. Can you recall that? And I want to say further, because this event is a small event, but it's also very important. And as I've tried to do on several occasions, is to dispel the myth that only Massacre and Mahaut is getting attention. That is so unfortunate. And persons sometimes see what they want to see, and they also hear what they want to hear. I just, as I've been embarking over the years on so many different interventions, somebody said, but we need some hydrants, in Jimmy, and we need some street lights. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that because notwithstanding what you may do, you're always going to find persons saying something different. And there's nothing wrong in that. Okay? Even persons who sing calypsos, understand, the lyrics sometimes do not reflect reality. You see? These are things that you have to know and appreciate. When I became the parrot, because sometimes it is so difficult for some of us who are looking more comfortable in life to appreciate and understand the needs of the poor. So when things are done for the poor people, to many who occupy a higher position in the social space, that is not important. All of us can recall Benawavin. The persons who live in Benawavin was quarters from 1979. When I became the parrot, the road was a ravine. Beautiful ladies, beautiful, very beautiful ladies, used to walk and have the nice block hill in their bags and with toeless, Toyota, in the feet. And they will place the shoes, the nice shoes, on the feet when they got into the buses. We spent over $2 million to construct proper roads with sidewalks. We did some intervention to train the ravine in Benawavin. That ravine was able to withstand the ravages of Erica. We have some more work to do in terms of stabilizing the ravine banks. That is important. The people in Benawavin were squatters also. They are no more squatters. They have the dignity of having a title before their names. And we have also given them road access, isn't that so? Yes, sir. There was no sidewalk at the housing scheme in Canefield. Only one lane was done in Lower River Estate. We have done every outstanding lanes. The road from Marina going up to River Estate, we were the ones who did it. And having said that, we've also gotten approval for work to be done on the road in River Estate, close to the home of my good friend, the only friend I have in River Estate, Olivia Farah. So work will start the next week. The money has been approved in that regard. When I come by here and other persons in that area, I want to drive sweet and span. Okay? I also want to recognize other persons from Canefield who are here. I might say that Olivia is my only friend. Don't take me seriously. Understand? All of you are my good friends. We have persons like Tessa who have been around for a long time, from the time I started running. And my wonderful friend, Veronica. Whenever I have a function, I don't call Veronica name, I'm in problems. So I'm saying Veronica Graham, my good friend today. And of course, Tessa's daughter-in-law. From day one, they have been there. Now, having said that, we have also provided free buses for secondary school students of Canefield. We have at least 3 buses, 1 to 3, carrying students from Canefield East, Roger, Canefield, Benavin, just name it, the secondary schools. We have a record number of persons from Canefield who have been assisted to go to secondary school, college, and university. We have an example here today. He was fully trained and he has returned as a civil engineer and is gainfully employed. He's from Canefield also, Mr. Lavin. Isn't that so? So we're going to continue to be working with the people of Canefield. 2 weeks ago, we met with, the meeting was intended for young unemployed males. And I was totally impressed by the turnout. We have been doing all the background checks, and of course the forms have been completed, and all the details have been actually gathered so that we can assist the young men of Canefield who have submitted proposal for small business and enterprise development. And so in the new financial year, as we have done in the other parts of the constituency, the monies will be made available to the young men, but of course we have to have some orientation because the money has to be used for the intended purpose. Because what I want to see is that you're gainfully employed and you're made a better person, able to contribute to mainstream society. We also have done all the background checks for Campbell, Mahaut, and Massa. And we shall be making, of course, the presentation of the financial resources to persons who have made the submission. And all these things are being done. And I want to say that what is happening here today could not have been possible without the tremendous support from the Prime Minister, who is also the Minister for Finance. And I want to also say good afternoon to my colleague Minister, Honourable Justina Charles, who is also the Minister for Constituency Empowerment, for facilitating today's event, and all my colleagues in Cabinet. This government, which has been led by a visionary leader, have decided to rehabilitate all our community roads in the country. and to ensure that we create the environment for expansion and for economic advancement. And that is impossible to be achieved without having a proper road network. And we have also been able to invest in our people by way of education, scholarships, and as you know, this very important national project, the National Hospital, which suddenly is no longer a staple item on the political discourse for many. It's no longer. But that is a very important project, and it's going to impact our ability to provide health care for citizens from the secondary and tertiary levels. And that's very critical. So we're going to get to the point in the development of the people when we no longer have to send our residents overseas for medical attention. That is what we're doing, and I think that has to be celebrated. I want to also commend the Prime Minister and my colleagues in Cabinet for again putting aside, of course, $5 million geared towards assisting persons who are challenged by this monster disease of disease cancer. During my interaction with many persons in the constituencies, I say constituencies because not only Mahaut, people speak with me and other ministers, and the difficulties they have been having to mobilize the resources to seek the kind of care to deal with cancer. Even in Trinidad and Guyana, where, of course, it's a little cheaper, the average family cannot afford it. And those of us who may be fortunate to have some money, and who are saying, of course, the government is throwing money in the wrong direction. But I want to say to these people that somebody should not be left to die because that person is poor. That is not what the Labour Party stands for. The Labour Party's mantra is about empowering people and taking care of the most vulnerable in our mix. You can have a very impressive bank account, but a simple malady as serious as cancer, when you have to go for the treatment, in a matter of a couple of weeks, all that money you have in the bank can disappear. I have seen persons, a number of instances, where persons just given birth to babies, and I pause to recognize Mr. Challenger, a great Dominican, a former police officer, living overseas, who is always taking an interest in what's happening in this country, and who also has a right to vote in Dominica whenever election is done.
Mr. Challenger is always here.
Okay? To the land. You see? No, so that's important. And of course, persons are born, babies are being born with all kinds of maladies, etc. Certainly they have a defect in the heart. And the poor mother and father did not have 20,000 euro. The Prime Minister, using his good self and his good office, and the Labour Party's philosophy, made a special facility available so we can assist persons in that predicament. And many lives have been saved in that regard. Now, in the last budget cycle, we started a very impressive initiative at the pilot stage. We have medical insurance for single mothers with babies 3 years and under. We were able to go and get $5 million under the CBI program to capitalize the first segment of that scheme. So all these things we're doing to set a platform for a national health insurance scheme that can come later down, because we believe that health care ought to be a right, and nobody should be left to die. And I'm saying these things because it's very important to echo these things, because in the biggest economy in the world, United States of America, but in both chambers of Congress, the Senate and the House, members cannot agree on a health care bill, especially for the most vulnerable in the mix. It's the richest economy in the world. And in a small country with all our challenges, we're able to start something. But it's important because the non-tax revenue that they're able to mobilize through the CBI is under attack. And by extension, the country's economy is under attack. So we have a moral responsibility as responsible citizens to defend this program, and by so doing, you're defending Dominica. So I wish you well, and I'll be back very, very soon. And the next time, with God's grace, when I'm back, we shall be meeting with the young persons of Canefield we met recently, and to make the presentation to them so they can start doing something productive for themselves. We have undertaken a review of all the roads in Canefield. Every single road. And in that regard, and we have the dossier with the design, wonderful designs, engineering design, from one of the best engineers in Dominica. He's young. And he's the best because he's from the Mahaut constituency, one of the best. Of course, my father was his mother's godfather. So I can say what I want about him. May soul rest in peace. Okay, and so all the designs and the estimate for Canefield were done by Mr. Canefield Urban. Let's put our hands together for him. We cannot pay for that. And he likes detail. So every design that we estimate we have nice designs. Okay? And to say, just finally in closing, so before I say finally, in the next financial year cycle, which is very soon, we shall be tackling 21st Street, Roger. That road is a very long road, but it's in a deplorable state. And we shall be doing it. And hopefully we can partner with the council again to do that. And we can do Footing Street. And then on the flat, after you pass the roundabout coming from the airport, the free lanes there, we shall be doing that very early in the new financial year. And so when we drive for Canefield, it has to look like a real urban area. In that regard, the council and the residents of Canefield have the collective responsibility to ensure that they keep the environment clean. We have made a truck available. It's right there we came, and I handed over a truck to the chairman. Truck cost $150,000. We also have engaged a very efficient crew from Canefield, and then Mr. Alexander is there. We call him Rasta. And they have the responsibility to maintain the road in terms of brush cutting, cleaning the drains, etc., from the intersection at Benoavin all the way back to the Wasco Tank in Antrim. And we have an ex-crew taken from the roundabout to come down. So we're doing everything humanly possible. I've been having discussion so that we can have our own garbage collection in the constituency. Something that is reliable. And then very soon we shall be actually starting that process. And that would include Canefield to ensure that the area is kept. We cannot talk about clean and green, and we have thrown our garbage all over the place. Our refuge management is our responsibility. So when we go and put our refuge by the road, knowing that the truck has passed already, it's a reflection not on Scared, the Prime Minister or the Parliament, but on you. But as your humble servant, I will play my part. But the onus is on you to do the rest. So I'm looking forward to working with you in every regard. And yes, my good friend, this is it. So I'm hoping that work can start tomorrow. Who can start tomorrow with the contract? Put up your hands. Who can start tomorrow?
Contractors.
I know for one. No, I want to say something. in closing, I'm mad already. The people of Canefield East, who I met after we did the first intervention, have asked me for the return of the contractor. Isn't that so? The contractor was engaged. I've been asked, make sure he comes back. Isn't that so? Well, he's back. I want to say thank you very much for the media fraternity. And I want to say thank you very much for those of you who came with me on, what day was it? Monday, when we did the site visits of a number of projects. And you asked me to take you every week, isn't that so? Yes or no? Yeah? Yes. Don't tell him why. Okay? And the best was not there, so the best really missed. And of course. So hopefully, we might go Friday or Monday again, because we have some outstanding works taking place. For the people of Despo and Despo and Campbell, the Despo Campbell link road is coming. Yesterday and today, the engineers were there doing the final details. And that road is going to be a wonderful road. And for all the contractors who are now engaged, the various interventions that we're doing by way of road and all, interventions and other, I want to say thank you very much for the wonderful work you have been doing. Don't underestimate those contracts. Local contractors, building capacity, building proficiency, and making a name for yourselves. The important thing is to, whatever you're doing, do it to the highest degree of excellence, and money will follow you. I'm happy that the work that is currently taking place in River in Canefield, that a number of young men from Canefield are employed there, and only 2 from Mahaut, and 9 from Canefield. That is important. So I wish you well, and now is it, what do you call it? This is it. And for all those who said, in life you have to have a forgiving heart. Even those who crucified Jesus, he said forgive them, for they know. Thank you very much. I like trouble from Mahaut. Okay? So I'm here as a humble servant to work with all and sundry. The onus is now on you, Mr. Chairman, and your team, to show me that you're serious. And based on the meetings I've had in the past couple of days, I feel encouraged, you know? You understand? So do not get yourself involved in sideshows. You understand? I mean, man have a right to vote for who they want. My role is to give people reasons to vote for me. And there are some people that you can give them gold on the plate, they will not vote for you. All right? So that should not deter you in doing what you ought to be doing. And I've been elected to serve the people of the Mahaut constituency. And I still have the energy, the courage, and the fortitude to continue to do that. I want to also recognize Mr. Abraham, Mr. Baptist. Mr. Baptist knows a lot of secrets about me. He used to be, I don't care about my wife listening, he used to be a security guard at the then Continental Inn, isn't that so? Yes. My wife used to be working there. You understand? So Baptist and I have been good friends from a long, long, long time. Isn't that so, Baptist? All right. Yes. Right, thank you. Very, very long. And let's leave that there, okay? So thank you very much. And may the good Lord bless the people of Canefield. And may the good Lord bless our Prime Minister too, who's out of state. And bless this wonderful country. Thank you very much.